All right, everybody, welcome back. Today we are going deep on crowdsourcing.
Crowdsourcing.
And I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
You have a ton of research that you've pulled together for me.
Yeah.
We're going to go through it and, kind of talk about the different ways that crowdsourcing can be used. Because I think most people, when they think crowdsourcing, they think, like GoFundMe or Kickstarter, right?
Product development, maybe.
Product development, maybe getting money.
That's
or
right.
like you said, funding, or even like
a logo.
picking a logo or something like that.
Yeah, or a name.
Yeah, a name for your company.
Uh-huh.
But it goes way beyond that.
Way beyond.
So we have, I think, 6 different areas
Yeah, 6 different areas.
that we're going to kind of dive into today.
Sounds good.
So first up is market research.
Okay.
So how can crowdsourcing be used for market research?
Well, you can imagine if you are trying to get a feel for what people want, you could use a large group of people to tell you.
Right. Yeah. And I
think
think,
they want.
I think it's interesting, too, because, a lot of times people will kind of scoff at like online surveys and things like that. But
They can be fun. They can be unreliable sometimes. But if you
Yeah.
do it right, you can really get some good information.
yeah, and there was an example of a company, and I don't remember what the company was, but
It was a clothing company.
clothing company. Okay.
Yeah.
And they actually had 15% higher sales
Wow.
after they started incorporating crowdsourcing into their
Into their market research.
market research.
Okay, so that's
That's significant.
that's significant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so market research. So you can figure out
What people want,
what people want and
Yeah.
what they're looking
and
for.
how much they'll pay for it.
How much they'll pay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say you figure out what people want. How can you use crowdsourcing to actually build it?
Yeah, so product design.
Product design.
We're talking about, an app or a new kind of...
Sneakers.
Right.
Whatever it is.
Like a new crowdsourcing could
Like a vacuum cleaner or
Yeah, anything you can do.
Yeah,
Right.
I was reading I think it was a software company they saved
25% on development.
25% on development costs
Yeah, just
by using crowdsourcing.
crowdsourcing the design ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did they get good results? I mean, was the software?
Yeah, it was a big success.
Okay, so it wasn't like they were just trying to cut corners.
Right, it wasn't just about saving money. It was about getting good ideas.
They got a better product.
A better product, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they got more input.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about those times where you just, like, you're stuck? You have a problem
Right.
and you just can't figure out the solution.
Yes. Problem solving.
Problem solving.
Crowdsourcing can help.
How so?
Well, you get a lot of smart people together and you give them a problem to
Right.
solve, and somebody's going to come up with an idea that you never
Yeah.
would have thought of. And I guess you don't even have to get like experts.
Not necessarily. I
Okay.
mean, there was an example in your research of a city that used crowdsourcing to solve a traffic problem.
Really?
Yeah, it was causing all kinds of headaches.
I bet.
And so they put it out to the residents like, hey, how can we fix this?
Did they get good ideas?
They got hundreds of ideas.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of them were really good.
And they actually implemented some of them.
They did, and it really helped the traffic flow.
That's amazing. I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. What about something like talent recruitment?
Oh, yeah?
Can you actually find someone to
Surprised.
work for you
Yeah.
using crowdsourcing?
Yeah, a lot of companies are doing it now.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good way to find people with a specific skills.
Like what kind of skills?
Well, in your research, there was a company that found their top software engineer
Really?
through a coding challenge on a crowdsourcing platform.
Wow. Okay, so it's like a very specific...
Yeah, they needed someone who could do this very specific thing.
Right.
And they found them through crowdsourcing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about some pretty big, like initiatives.
Right.
Market research, product design, solving big problems.
Yeah.
What about for the average person? Like how can...
Well, that's where microtasking comes in.
Microtasking?
Yeah.
So it's basically breaking down big tasks into little tiny tasks.
Okay.
And then you can get a bunch of people to do those tiny tasks.
So, like, if I needed to transcribe this episode,
Exactly.
I could use a microtasking platform.
You could, yeah. Or if you needed to edit some photos
Or do some data entry or something like that.
anything you can think of.
Okay, so that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a good way to get things done quickly.
Quickly, and I'm assuming affordably.
Affordably, yeah.
Okay. Last but not least, funding.
Right.
We've all heard of crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding.
But is that all there is to it? Well, it's definitely a big part of it, but it's not just about getting money. It's about building a community around your idea.
So it's more than just like getting a loan.
Yeah, it's about getting people excited about what you're doing.
Right.
And getting them involved.
Okay, so it's like a marketing tool as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it can be a good way to test out your idea.
Like a proof of concept, kind of?
Exactly. If people are willing to put their money behind it, then, you're onto something.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so we've talked about a lot.
A lot of different ways to use crowdsourcing.
I feel like my mind is blown a little bit.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up here, I would love to leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay.
What is a problem in your life right now?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That you think you could potentially solve using crowdsourcing?
I like it.
That's it for this deep dive, everybody. We'll see you next time.
See. Bye.
Bye.